Hello, guys. I'm MicheleMarieDalene, MicheleMarieDalene. Of course, today we're going to talk about something new, and Lemmy will be joining me, as this is definitely a topic that will excite some people, and other people will probably be yawning and saying, "Big deal." The topic is good versus evil. Something close to the microphone here. Good versus evil is the topic today, and this ties in with Once Upon a Time, in particular with the character of Regina. Yeah, the supposed to be evil queen. I wanted to tie it in with her and also tie it in with myself, because of the fact that there's a lot of commonality between me and the character Regina, as there is between me and Elsa. The first question is Regina herself had said that evil is made, is not born. Well, that's true to an extent. However, there is some flaws with that logic. What makes a person choose to be evil instead of good is very fascinating to think about, because you think about what is the meaning of being evil or good. Well, in the case of Regina, some of the things that made her evil was the constant desire to have absolute power. Absolute power can make anybody evil. It does weird things to your brain. It causes your brain to become a feeling that everybody else is more powerful than you are, to the point where you start to seek the ability to outbeat them, outcompete them, outperform them at the expense of everything else in the world around you. Okay, as was what was going on with Regina, their constant vigilance to get rid of Snow White, in the both the original fairy tale and of course in Once Upon a Time. There's so much anger regarding Snow White in the original Once Upon a Time, the earlier season, that is what Regina's driving passion was she wanted to finally force her upper hand to supposedly get the last hurrah in as an evil character. So she threw everybody about 28 years ago, our time, into Storybrooke as a curse to expunge all of them from the enchanted forest into Storybrooke, Maine. At least that's what the story is about. Okay, well, here's the question. Okay, I want to bring it to how I tie into this, and how Hans Christian Andersen's original Snow Queen ties into this. Anybody who does any kind of workings with sorcery and magic, especially sorcery. Sorcery is the use of the 5 elementals, and ways that is to achieve power, to become stronger, more powerful. That takes a lot of facts to become like that. You start to change, your whole outlook changes in your life, and you begin to actually crave more power. It's kind of like when you have an addiction to alcohol, cigarettes, cocaine, heroin, whatever. Or it's the initial shot of whiskey isn't going to do it for you. So the next thing you know, you want 5 or 6 shots of whiskey in a single day, because it makes you feel a certain sense of magic. And then, of course, by that time, you don't realize the amount of damage that you're doing to yourself by craving the 5 or 6 shots of whiskey. Hi, Rust. How you doing, Kitty Cat? You know the Rust Ball. Yeah. But if there was anybody in this world that keeps me from becoming the worst of the worst, it's this guy. Because it's so easy to become like Regina when you're snuggling. It's really easy to become just like that. Regina made a conscious effort to go through and change her ways so that she could become more good. Because once she made an effort, she had planned to marry Robin. And what happened is that Emma brought back Miriam, Robin's ex-wife or late wife. And upon bringing back Miriam, all of a sudden Regina was finding herself kind of in the seeing black, if you will. Because she was like, oh my God, now I got his late wife is now back in Storybrooke, and Robin is not willing to give up and divorce her, because technically she was dead, but rather wants to continue his marriage with her. And now he can't marry me because he refuses to marry her and stay married to her and marry me too. Which makes it hard, because the truth is that if you try to split your love between you and another, it gets really tricky. It's hard enough, especially if there's no jealousy between the 3 partners, or a trio. And once you got that jealousy seed has been planted, well, then you can kiss that idea goodbye. It's funny because we think of all the things that I do, and you wonder how I did not become evil. I did not become evil because I happened to have made a conscious decision to show that you can be a snow queen and not be evil, and that you can do your best job and focus on the needs of all, not just one or a few. And that's been pretty successful for me as far as a person goes. But if I was to say to you that I do not have dreams of doing evil, I can tell you right now, it's far easier to do evil in some cases than it is to do good. So, as far as why would Regina now feel like I tried this good thing and it didn't work for me? Fuck it. It's pretty much what you said. I mean, not with the 4-letter vernacular, but she did say it. It isn't working for me. I'm tired. I tried being good, and it's not working for me. I thought I was going to have a happy ending. I ain't got one. I thought that if I recanted my evilness and chose to become good, that maybe I'd be part of the happy ending of the storybook. And guess what? It doesn't happen that way. Well, in that case, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to feel? She says, killing Miriam is not going to make me happy. Okay? So, I need to find another way to make myself happy and enjoy my happiness. And she came up with an idea. Why don't we've had the mirror talking to Sydney, I want you to find the writers of this accursed tome, and I want that person to rewrite the story so that even the evil villains can have a happy ending. Well, you know what? I have to admit, I agree with her 1000% there. Why shouldn't anybody have a happy ending in their lives? Remember, I am naturally a good person, but still, I try to look at the whole perspectives from all eyes. Why shouldn't we always have a happy ending? Why shouldn't I have, the same pleasures that everybody else is having with Belle and Rumpelstiltskin and Emma and Hook? Why shouldn't I have the pleasure of having my happiness fulfilled? Pretty powerful. Think about it. But even if you ever watched Tangled, that is exactly what Prince Charming said to all the guys in the bar there. Why shouldn't villains have a happy ending? Good question. What makes villains not have a happy ending? Why can't they have a happy ending? But then we talk about the real villains in the modern 21st century. Islamic State. Seems like they're having their own happy endings, aren't they? Maybe this time Islamic State is going to be a happy ending in their own right. But remember I told you once before, happy endings, okay, and evil do not match. They do not go together. For evil does not always triumph in the end. It doesn't mean they can't win the battles, but it's sure to hell ain't going to win the final war. Oh, the history books are stacked against that. Whatever happened, even the Bible in the book of Revelation is stacked against evil ever having a happy ending. Even in the Battle of Megiddo, the evil never will have a happy ending. But it certainly would be interesting. What if evil could have a happy ending? How much would it change the world? What if I was evil? What if I was like Regina? What was I? Wanted to see Miriam's head on a spike. You think about that. If a Snow Queen was evil, be some very bad damage out there. But when we didn't talk much about Alexander Volskov and why he was discharged, he was borderline evil. He started out, as Mother knew, he was a problem, but she wanted to see if he could overcome his power mad ego. He couldn't give up his power ego ways. So it was decided that he needed to be prevented from becoming a weather steward for the Russian zone, because of the fact is that he was too eager to use his knowledge and research for doing harm to other people than to be doing good. It is possible, however, and some would say, oh, if that's what the Russians wanted was a steward that was out there to cause grave harm to the Russian landmass in that part of the Eastern European area, then maybe that's just good. Well, hold on a minute. It's not quite that simple. First of all, like I said, Mother had a great gathering of all of us, and we all expressed our concern for what we were hearing from Tanaya and what Alexander was doing or planning to do. Once he was officially installed, he was not going to play a fair game. He wanted to play a game of I'm going to kick ass, take names, and I don't give a crap if you like it or not. First of all, let me make sure you understand one thing here, okay? Your job and primary mission as a weather steward is weather, and trying to be a responsible person to create weather that is in the best interest for the people of your area. You see, one of the things the weather stewards were created with because people always complained about the weather. Everybody said, well, why can't I have snow today? Why do we have to have it when it's 75 degrees and outside and it's humid and it's sticky and it's hot? Or maybe it's just not quite hot. Maybe it's raining instead of sleeting or things like that. All the knowledge and resources that were made available to us, Mother God said, you know what? I want to change something here. I want to give people the opportunity, a few select group of people, to learn how the earth weather is maintained, manage it themselves, and see if they could do a better job by having on-hand personal experience. It's not easy to do that. But the most important thing that Mother said is, especially for weather steward, it is a privilege, not a right. Okay? I can install you, I can uninstall you just as easily. She said to me, I will give anybody a fair shake, but if for some reason I don't think that they can overcome their personal egos and do a good job, then they will be removed from that position. The other thing too is that Mother does not want us to focus on just us. She wants us to focus on all of you as well. Meaning, she wants us to think of the needs of the many of our subjects and the people that we work for, to maintain a fair balance, to try to keep things in check. But it's just like what Lynn Anderson sang, I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden with the sunshine. There's got to be a little rain sometimes. And sometimes that's hard because, I love snow and I love winter and I love ice, I love cold, I love wind. And that doesn't mean that all the people in the United States would appreciate if I totally froze this planet or froze this continent up to a big giant slab of icicles. First of all, that's suicidal. Because obviously if I had done that, what would it mean is that we would have no food, we would have no energy, we'd have no transportation systems, we'd have no resources. We'd kill all the crops, probably kill hundreds if not thousands of people. Is that what Mother would want us to do? Of course not. If Regina was North American snow queen, what would she have done? I don't know. If Rumpelstiltskin? I don't think he would be around very long if Rumpelstiltskin was the North American Snow King. I think he would definitely destroy a lot more than even Regina would have done. So it's a tight line, and you have to walk that line every day. And I love my job, and I love what I do, and I love how I try to find balance. You got to admit that this is a special thing. This is a gift to be in this position. It's a one of a kind thing. So yes, like Regina, I could easily be evil. But then, like Alexander Vosklev, I find myself outside looking in. And I have to be honest, that scares me. It scares me a lot. Because it's so easy to go there. I've worked hard for, to reach this level. I've done everything I can within ethics to be an example that others would want to follow. And when I think of all the things that I have done in the last, since 2011, I mean, I've certainly I got houseflies flying around me today. I don't know why. Just do. It's just the strangest things to think that, what would I do if one day I woke up and all of a sudden I find out from mother that, sorry, your service is terminated. I don't know what I would do. It's bad enough if it was because of something you did not do. It was not your fault. It would be devastating. It was because of something you did do. That was your fault. Does it mean that, for example, a bad snowstorm is going to cause your forces to be terminated? No, because it all depends on what was the intent. We talked about this once before. If you don't mean to do harm, but unfortunately you do harm anyway, but your intent was not to harm, that's really different than someone who wants to go out there and destroy everything just because they want to demonstrate just how bad they can be. In the case of the second category, it says in the covenant is your power is a right, not a privilege. Or is a privilege, not a right, which means I can pull it any time. If I feel that you have failed to uphold ethical considerations, I could take away everything you have earned. Quite a different from Regina. She doesn't have any kind of rules like that. Except one thing, which is still true even for me. You don't want to become the bad person in the town, because after all, you want to be accepted and liked. It's just like Regina learned in Storybrooke. She's not only not that bad of a person, Once she stopped acting like an asswipe, she actually earned a lot of allies, friends. I think Hans Christian Andersen, if you think about what he was trying to say about the Snow Queen, I think that if he was to reevaluate his characters, I think the first thing he would realize is that, number one, is that I make a mockery of his so-called Snow Queen. Because I not like that character. His character, Snow Queen, was based on a woman that he did not like as a person. And that's something that if I met him today, I'm sure Hans Christian Andersen would have said to me that I'm really not a bad person at all. And I'm a good person that just trying to do the best situations that sometimes can get really dicey. Also life too. I wonder if that's one thing that I never did hear much about the Snow Queen was by Hans Christian Andersen is, did the Snow Queen ever have a social life outside of her snow palace? We don't really know. We just know that she's mostly out to take care of some other things. Other than that, it's just basically sat on her throne every day. Well, I do get out, and I do try to remain active outside the community, and I try to advocate, and I try to speak up for those who can't. But, you know, I have to, you know, consider my needs as well as the needs of others. Well, anyway, I think this is starting to run a little bit longer than I intended, and so I'm going to get ready to wrap this up for now. But if you would like to talk to me about this topic, about this tape, I'll try to edit it down a little bit to clean it out, to shorten it so it won't be so jumbled. Let's talk about it. I really would like to hear what you got to say. What do you think I should do? What's your ideas? How can I do to solve this dilemma? And it is a dilemma in its true sense of the word. Before I go, yeah, don't forget to watch next week's Once Upon a Time too. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Yeah, it was good. Really interesting. It certainly is. Yes, do watch it. It will be. I keep getting the dates and times wrong, guys. I'm very sorry. Okay? It started last night on Sunday. It started at 8 o'clock once upon a time, not 9. It's 9 Central, not... I don't know. I get lost. Just take a grain of salt with it, okay? The point is 8 o'clock Eastern time, okay? ABC networks. You figure out the rest, okay? And it was a good show, and I would say I think it's a good promise, okay? But for now, we'll both see you later. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.